Thank you, Wendy. Good morning, everybody. This is the third of these 15-minute webinars I've done, and I got to say, I've really started to enjoy them. I'm going to cover the very top level of things, but the slides will be available, and of course, there's much more information. You can contact me or Computer Aid or whomever. So we're going to talk a little bit about IT infrastructure, IT services, and the return on investment on them. Many people are oversimplifying these because you can go on an Amazon or Azure and find a rate card and get information on the cloud and think you can cost it. Well, and in software development, people are doing fairly well. Agile is kind of tempering estimates a bit, but generally people are considering at least how much it should cost and how long it will take. But what people are often forgetting is that IT infrastructure, IT services can be 60% plus of the total ownership costs. A costing cloud generally isn't that different than costing anything else, costing software or whatever. Systems engineering costs can skyrocket, figuring out what you do and why you do it. Many jobs change, although jobs don't often disappear. People sometimes think, oh, we'll just go to the cloud, get rid of a whole bunch of people. Well, the jobs change, although the cloud keeps getting more and more powerful. It's not like you can go to the cloud and get rid of all your people. New things pop up as important, things like bandwidth. Risk always should be considered, both the technical risk of the program and the operations and the risk of inaccessibility. There's been some really horror stories about inaccessibility. The cost of setting up software as a service and on premises could be similar too. Some people think, oh, it's just free because we go onto the web. It's not necessarily free and usually isn't. And then the shopping lists on the cloud sites. I mean, one of these, very more complicated than it seems. So the rate card is wonderful. You can go on there and say, okay, I need X virtual machines and Y of these and so much bandwidth, et cetera, et cetera. Now comes the cost. It doesn't cover a lot of the details of the cost. And not only that, what I've seen is that proper systems engineers can actually reduce that cost substantially. People that really know the architecture. For example, I've got 5 kids, 3 of them are working in cloud. 2 work for AWS, and one's just going to work for Azure. And we had a database situation at Galorath, and seemed very expensive. My son, the free architect, I did pay for his college, so it was fair. Looked at it, and he showed us how to reduce the cost of the database on AWS by 95%. So sometimes you can make huge mistakes by just not doing the systems engineering. But the costs change constantly, and the fallacy that cloud is always cheaper is not always there. In fact, often not there. Here's an example. If you bought an in-house computer to do something, a server, and these costs are several years old now, it costs about $8,800 for this particular silly example over 5 years. If you hosted this on the cloud, again, these costs are a little bit dated, might be a little cheaper now. That same functionality would cost you about $32,000 over 5 years, because the cloud's an annual charge. There's different charges for different things. There's charges for the database, charge for backup, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, of course, I'm not including in the upfront cost, the top cost, the $8,800, the IT support cost of having somebody to back up the system and worry about blackouts and things like that. But it's not an obvious thing that costs are cheaper on the cloud. Now, selecting the right cloud system. I believe the systems engineering, figuring out what you need and why you need it, is a massively more important part of the problem now than it was just with an on-premises system. You need to identify the platform, the virtual machines, bandwidth, service levels, security considerations, all these other things. Now, some of them are catching up on premises, but this can be a major effort for a major system. Now, if you're hosting one more application on an existing cloud platform that you use every day, not so much. But then there's a cost if you're moving software over it to do software development to mitigate and convert the software. Some software will run as is in virtual machines, and that might be fine. Other software might be far better off being redeveloped for the particular cloud environment. For example, we saw a case where using Salesforce, Force.com, there was a 60% reduction in the costs of software development using their platform. In that case, it may not be the same for you. Of course, get initial estimates from the suppliers for all the different things, and estimate a range of costs. Part of it is parametric, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the parametrics, so that's my favorite part to talk about. But part of it is good systems engineering. How do I do this? How do I do this best? Again, it's a major thing, and don't just let people do web search. One of the most dangerous things is people doing internet searches and saying, okay, I got it. I got the rate card and I got this article. Things change so rapidly. Internet searches just aren't sufficient. Here we can see a kind of a cloud breakdown overlook. A lot of people talk about infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure and platforms seem to be merging in many ways, but all these things are available in the cloud. And if it sounds like I'm anti-cloud, I am actually not. Although I got to say, I look outside, there's not a cloud in the sky today. Cloud is very productive in so many ways, but it's not free, it's not cheap, and it's often not easy. This chart, again, the slides will be available if you want to see the details. This shows what the vendor will do for you in the various situations of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. The reds are things that you still have to do. So again, systems engineering is required to optimize, and you might say we do this on our in-house systems, and we hopefully do, but it's more important to do it on the cloud. Again, the example we were shown by one of my kids, who's an Amazon architect, how to reduce the cost by 95% by using Amazon's relational database service instead of the database we were using. Of course, once you do that, you're locked in, they own you. You want to convert it to something else, you've got to do all the work once again to convert it to somewhere else. So if you're going to get locked in, make sure you understand and know that's going to lock you in, and you're willing to do that. Now, this little chart shows generally the costs of total ownership. Software development is the biggest risk, but it's only about 6 to 10% of the cost of a system generally. The 6 to 10% is software development. Software maintenance, the next chart on the right-hand piece of that pie, can be substantial as well. But the biggest piece usually is the people that run it, the hardware to run it, all the other things that go into the infrastructure and services. So if we had a $10 million development, it could be a $100 million total ownership cost. Why does that matter? When people are making return on investment decisions, when people are deciding if the product should be done or killed or deferred, they often look at the wrong and subsets of cost. Looking at total ownership cost is a key so management can make the right decisions. Now here we can see this little chart shows support costs go up even if you offload the whole thing to Amazon. Supporting your own applications.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also getting complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN-to-EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.